Alright, so we're back to the tourney that should have been completed yesterday, but because of technical issues, it should be completed today. We're down to the last four in this semifinal, Zoc versus Puerto Rico. Zoc number one on the global and 1v1 ladders. Puerto Rico somewhere in the top 5 of those. The other semifinal is Blackheart versus Lucian, so that's also excellent. So we basically have the 4 best players, besides people like Voodoo and Zlaw, who hopefully play in 2 weeks. So on this map, both players go on Seraphim. Looks like second air from Puerto Rico. Not clear what Zoc's gonna do, but Zoc is very good. Recently I did a extreme game, was Lucian versus Zoc, where Lucian went first bomber and did actually quite well the first bomber, but Zoc still recovered and beat him. So yeah, we're gonna probably see 2 extremely good Eye of the Storm games, Blackheart versus Lucian, as well as Zoc versus Puerto Rico. Of course, semifinal is gonna be a best of 3. First game is here, the next one's going to be on Loki, and the third game is going to be on Canis River. Then the final is a best of 5. So it looks like second air at the Hydro for Zoc. Second air, and actually it's going to be 2 air factories planned for Puerto Rico plus 2 land. 1 engineer going to the middle. And this game is live, but I'm a bit behind. I might actually speed it up at this point. But one thing not to forget on this map, it's 4 spot map, so there's 4 equivalents of everything, but these rocks huge, plus this little 300 mass stick that sticks out of the ground. And now it looks like a tank after 5 engineers, then a tank and a Celine from Puerto Rico. We've already seen a whole bunch of Celines from Zoc. Zoc loves to do this with Celines. Imagine he'll stick those random places on the map, give him nice radar coverage for free. Somebody who likes a power style, you gotta get radar any way you can. Looks like in terms of power and mass, both players very even. First bomber from Zoc. Scout comes out for Puerto Rico. Scout interceptor. I think this scout is going to be in time to spot this bomber. So far, yeah, this interceptor is probably going to get a kill. In many situations, I really like the scout interceptor in situations where you know that somebody's going to go second air. It really puts people in the hole. It's 80 mass, a whole bunch of power. Here comes the scout. The engineer for Zoc is quite a bit late. Yeah, so that scout what Puerto Rico did its work. However, can this bomber get a kill? This will be critical, and I think it will. So just before it died, that was extremely important. That was so much mass that Puerto Rico could have. Of course, that mass is very often put into a Tech 2 mass extractor. We'll see if that happens. You can either go Tech 2 mass extractor early or spam a whole bunch of power. Put yourself in a good position. See where this Celine goes. Not sure if there's something special about that placement, but oh no, he's gonna sneak in. Likely will die. Here come bombers from Puerto Rico. Up top, yep, Zoc stealing a whole bunch of mass. Let's actually see the reclaim numbers. 1,000 for Zoc, Puerto Rico at 900. In terms of power, Zoc is actually ahead, so Puerto Rico doing the power stall better than Zoc. And 2 air factories as well. I think Puerto Rico's probably going to have some power problems here. Here comes a bomber. That's also a very good bomber, although it's probably a foregone conclusion that that engineer is going to die. Looking at the ACUs, it does look like they're going to meet. 2 air factories versus 1 air factory. Total air domination from Puerto Rico, and on this map, more than on most maps. So, something very important. Light already got a dodge engineer. You can actually beat that if you micro, if you're Zoc, but if you don't micro, no micro, it's gonna die. Whoever takes air control on this map can take over map control, and also have total intel, which usually leads to leads to a victory. Interesting with these artilleries. I'm not sure what those are for, but first sign of naval plus the transport. So Zoc, a bit unlucky there. We are seeing some anti-air. Yeah, this Celine survive. That's going to be critical. It's going to be very good intel. Up on top, Zoc does seem to have numbers in terms of land units. He is spamming directly. Oh. Ow. Wow. 6 kills. Oh my god. That's a bomb Zoc's going to remember for a long time. Probably nobody's bombed Zoc this hard in a long time, at least. I haven't seen him get bombed this hard. Yeah. So Zoc really taking a big hit. The only advantage he may have had was up on top. But actually the numbers are kind of dwindling down there as well. With total air domination, these bombers from Puerto Rico, absolutely abusive. Also Zoc seems to be a bit quicker here, but he needs to finish that point defense. We see the nonchalant Celine, Tam walk around the ACU, just, you know, doing their rounds. Zoc trying to recover with air, and actually it's quite a few bombers. I'm gonna slow this down. Oh, it dropped. Yeah, if you saw the Lushan versus a Zoc game, Lushan lost 3 transports trying to drop over there. And it looks like the point defense was finished, but the walls weren't. Puerto Rico losing just a little bit of health. Zoc a little more health, but there is a factory here in support. Bombers continue to fly in. A Zoc may be in position to take back air, and that's going to be huge. If Zoc takes back air, there's a lot of investment in terms of bombers, as we're also seeing frigates. Frigates from both players, very even. In the middle might finally get populated by Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico slightly lower on health. No support for Zoc's ACU here except the Celine. And up on top, it looks like a bit of micro from Puerto Rico. He's also going to drop off these engineers, but the Celine's going to spot him. But numbers for Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico is in a position to take the middle, the top corner, and I think he's going to push Zoc into the water, as we're also seeing bombers. Amazingly, the economies are very similar. There is 1, 2 Tech 2 mask extractors. 2 third on the way Tech 2 mask extractor for Puerto Rico, which is, I think, a bit surprising because in terms of map control, Puerto Rico is significantly ahead. Now you can see him pulling away. Bombers continue to go to work, and these bombers really suppress any kind of expansion. This will be a huge prize now. Zoc will need to build up a base, maybe some point defenses. He'll have a front right there. And on the naval front, very even, but looks like the second frigate's a little quicker. Yeah, now Zoc is beginning to slip on the economy front. Submarines, both players switching to submarines. And also bombers from Zoc, as it does appear that Puerto Rico is beginning to recover air control. He's got quite a bit of build capacity, and also just got himself power storage, so he's ready to fight. Zoc is going to retreat. He's got a cloud of interceptors over him, and it looks like a frigate victory. So I gotta say, Zoc not looking this good in this first game of a best of 3. You can never count Zoc out, but if I was predicting a victory here, I would definitely predict Puerto Rico, which really speaks volumes about how good he is getting Zoc to lose on Eye of the Storm. Although I gotta say, Zoc did not look that good here. Maybe he was underestimating. But as long as Puerto Rico protects his ACU, takes map control, probably that map control you either do some more teching, which he's definitely doing. He's got the option to go, he's going Tech 2 air, or he can go Tech 2 Navy with a superior economy. Because on the naval front he is suppressing. Zoc putting more build capacity on air as well. Still unable to recover. And here this might actually go down to micro. If Zoc was able to take the top corner, it would be a good start. Very annoying. Already gets killed. Yeah, nice Hydra there. Still a 24 mass deficit. But, oh yeah, 2 versus 1 submarines. But quite a bit of reclaim. And appears perhaps a successful drop there from Puerto Rico. This engineer from Zoc could be a hero if it reclaims this one and captures everything. But Zoc isn't giving him the right correct orders, no. This engineer is confused. Looks like a point defense was taken out. Zoc with 3 factory spam. But the tech to air is on its way. Gunships, and on this map, gunships extremely good. Plus switching to tech to air, so this power lead that Puerto Rico's established is gonna get even bigger as we're now seeing a drop. I think this drop, yeah, it could do a little damage, but there's 3 factories there. Oh wow, this engineer is on its way to getting the Congressional Medal of Honor. If you're, he's German. I don't know what the military awards are there. This gunship is gonna put him out of misery. But it was a good start. The ACU for Zoc is very much defenseless. Oh wow, that's poor Tham. Oh man, that was a suicide mission. Puerto Rico in the water, getting Tech 2. Zoc has recovered up on top, but he still does not have air, and it'll take quite a bit of Tech 1 flak to be able to defend against Tech 2. Wonder if the game sound is too loud or not. I'm actually going to turn it down a little bit. You guys can let me know after this first one if I need to adjust anything. More naval factories. And Zoc's actually been upgrading. He's got 3 Tech 2 mass extractors. And a big big spam. Oh, TMD, interesting. A shield, 2 Tech 2 power generators. And the push continues from Zoc. Zoc still hanging on to this one. 3,000 reclaim. Riding the power stall. 3,700 reclaim for Puerto Rico. He's established a very good base here in the corner, sitting on a Tech 2 ACU. You see a front right here. As yet another battle, air battle rages, and Zoc could be taking back air, and there's really not a lot of defense here on land from Puerto Rico. I think Zoc has definitely recovered from pretty bad position, although I think his ACU is still quite vulnerable. Perhaps Puerto Rico could have ended it if he would have made a couple more gunships and just went after the ACU. But I think that chance has slipped away given that air presence from Zoc. See how far Zoc can push this. See point defense is bland, and actually some Tech 2 mass extractors here from Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico though still in a very good position in terms of economy. With this kind of power advantage, it's just a matter of build capacity to win back air. And then I gotta say Tech 2, yep. Tech 2 with destroyers. We're gonna see Tech 2 yet? Nope. Just Tech 1 Navy. And Seraphim destroyers is not something to take lightly. It's not something that you can counter with just Tech 1 frigates like you can against say something like Aeon or Cybern destroyers. These will just go underwater and kill everything. Yeah, this push continues. If Zoc can get some engineers in this position, I'll love to also see some floating arty kill the middle. As we're seeing Puerto Rico with a Tech 2 ACU, perhaps a Tech 2 point defense creep. He'll try to push this line, take this cul-de-sac. The map definitely looks different than it looked a second ago. This is a great artillery. Denied so much, but it dies. Yeah, the destroyer is nearly there, and I think that destroyer can come into this position and really push Zoc back Pachirico is in a great position to continue pushing towards Zog's base, and here, with just Tech 1, Zog shouldn't be able to push past Tech 1 point defense's radar. And, well, he actually is in a pretty good position. This is good micro from Zog. Tech 1 naval presence. Yeah, and a bomb right here from Zog would really help his cause. Pachirico is not going to do the Tech 2 point defense creep. He'll actually retreat. And Zog is beginning to catch up in terms of mass. 4,300 reclaimed. 5,000. Zog riding the power stall. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that TMD. I'm sure Zlo wouldn't either. Perhaps a Tech 2 land here from Pachirico could be a good idea, or more build capacity on that naval factory. He seems to just be teching like crazy here with a whole bunch of Tech 2 mass extractors. He's getting some in the corner here as well. With the destroyers on its way, we are seeing a push toward Tech 2 Navy from Zog. Still just a Tech 1 air. So this ACU could be a bit vulnerable. You'd need to run and run behind a mountain to avoid the laser. There is no dodging against Seraphim. Yeah, and it does appear that this engineer is already in the front lines, ready to pick up the mass, and there's going to be so much of it. Yep, and it's going to survive. Zog still a bit of reclaim here left. You want to probably get that Hydra. Pachirico just beginning to run away with the mass once again. Some scouting from Pachirico. This destroyer needs to be built quick. And we're going to see here a demonstration. Tech 1 versus Tech 2 Navy. And actually with these numbers, this is quite a few subs and frigates. It'll depend on whether or not Pachirico drops this. Oh, and of course a cruiser. Feared Seraphim cruiser, as we're going to see gunships plus a whole bunch of inties. And of course Pachirico always has the option to retreat to the cruiser, which will absolutely shred inties. Tech 2 radar from Pachirico, and oh wow, Pachirico, the safest player to ever play this game. And I think there's numbers for Zog. Gunships being thrown away 200 mass at a time by Pachirico as the cruiser wipes out the metal that was just taken back by Zog. And I think Pachirico chose a completely wrong place to fight. I think he could have baited Zog to fight him over the cruiser. And once again, actually, the mass differential isn't that big. Zog has had air control, and what we've seen is kind of a pattern where whoever has had air control on this map was slowly gaining back the advantage, but it's a huge victory. So much reclaim from Pachirico. He's now at 8,000. Zog at 7,400. Here comes first destroyer for Zog. So this game is actually quite good. And one thing I forgot to mention, we did decide for this tourney. This is game 1 of a best of 3 for round 2. We'll have a vote for what it was the best game in the last 2 rounds, so semifinals and finals. And the winner of that game gets the $10 bonus, and perhaps that'll be to the addition to the 50, which is the prize for the entire tourney. Hopefully it'll encourage people to do crazy things. So far this game, I hope it's not the best one. I don't know how it's gonna end, but it's definitely could be one of the ones nominated for vote, and of course it'll be determined by a vote we'll do on FAF. As Zog, I mean, he's just coming back with authority here. The cruiser is in trouble. Tech 1 naval push. Here comes destroyer and destroyer, and I think this destroyer needs to shoot the enemy destroyer. Cruiser's dead. Now I guess he wanted to kill the cruiser. Drop is dead. Everything is going wrong for Pachirico. Has invested so much in these shields. These shields are so expensive. TMD is very defensive. Zog continued to play offensive and really, I think, maybe a little too crazy with that ACU. but now air control and perhaps naval control as well, as there's some really nice juicy reclaims right in this position. More build capacity for Puerto who is, I mean, by no account out of this game, even though he's getting beat back. We'll see Zach attempting a upgrade in a very bad position, as we're now seeing a cruiser. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a total loss for Zach, and characteristically running into Tech 1 point defenses. And Zach's first target is going to be oh man, Puerto might get isolated, as Zach really abusing or I could say using the floating arty to its full extent here, shooting over the cliffs, denying mass extractors, and now the deficit is only 8 mass between Zaki and Puerto. Zak seems to have cancelled his upgrade. He's sitting on the gun, probably doesn't want to take on Tech 2 point defense. As the Zak loses destroyer. I think Zak just lost his destroyer. He needs to move back with his cruiser. Yeah, that cruiser just got smashed by Puerto destroyer. More build capacity on that, because now there's so much more build capacity for Puerto. He's gonna have a lot of destroyers, but a lot more even now. As we are beginning to see a recovery from Puerto, who does have Tech 2 land, which will allow him to get some Ilshavas, Tech 2 point defenses, mobile missile launchers in case there's a Tech 2 point defense creep or something like that in the near future, which often happen on this map. Still a lot of reclaim here, which I don't think Zak is going to get to claim. Zak is now ahead in terms of mass. Gunships for Zak. Zak taking over the middle. So much reclaim here if somebody was ever to take it. And I think, yeah, I missed out on the destroyer. It wasn't dead. It was just camping here in the corner. Yeah, my apologies. 29 kills. It did take care of that destroyer. So Zak was never really in trouble in terms of naval. Apologies for all that confusion. Zak putting up a couple defensive structures in the top corner, but now with all this floating arty, Zak with a really impressive assault on this position of Puerto. Wow, so what a recovery from Zak. I mean, this game 5 minutes ago was, I think, won by Puerto, and he was just a bit too defensive. Yeah, and now 2 destroyers in the field. All these Tech 2 mass extractors, 3,000 mass just sitting there. That's 1.5 destroyer. It's gonna get killed by 2 destroyers if they could shoot over the barrier. And one interesting thing about Puerto, he's not making any Tech 1 Navy. Yeah, a lot of reclaim still on the field. A Tech 2 engineer to the top corner. 10,000 reclaim, Puerto at 1,200. Both players sitting on 2 destroyers, but there is a difference in that there is also a little Tech 1 Navy presence from Zak. And the mass is just, yeah, not enough offense. Means that defense is going to have to play. Poor placement from Puerto, and things are falling apart. This is uncharacteristic of Puerto. Just throw away a destroyer. Cannot afford that. I'd love to see somebody drop an engineer in this area. There's like 4,000 or 5,000 mass just sitting there, as we're now going to see a massive aerial assault coming in from Zak. He does not want to fly over Tech 2 flag here, which is a capability for Puerto. He will build some. Although, yeah, there he's going after destroyer that dives. I think killing all those engineers would, for the most part, end it, as floating arty is taking care of 3,000 mass invested. Puerto retreating back to the corner. Tech 2 flag for. Oh, this is what you want to see if you're Tech 2 flag. Apologies. Shooting at the wrong thing. I guess destroyers will take care of it. Not the best camera work on that one. As now we're gonna see Tech to land make an assault. So even though these two players are some of the top players, like, you gotta say the lack of engineers, I guess it's definitely present. But there have been two positions where one or two engineers could make a big difference. Yeah, Naval lost to Puerto Rico. I don't think there's any way back, because Navy is for the most part a game ender on this map, specifically or especially Seraphim Navy. Imagine we might see cruisers here. No, there's still a destroyer. And Puerto Rico realizes he's lost after 25 minutes. Game 1 goes to Zoc. We're gonna see two more between these two. Actually gonna see actually want to see show you guys a couple things. There's the Patago Tohan Puerto Rico, way more mass. Imagine way more energy was sitting on tech to power most of the game. Total kills. Recovery by Zoc. It really did seem like Zoc started slow, then recovered, and just a little too defensive from Puerto Rico. He could have totally had that game. I guess let's see if that game is in the vault or not. Let's see, are there any problems? Alright, see if I can find that replay. Yeah, the replay vault's not always optimal. I'll give it a little time to search. I guess no luck. So I guess I can't show. I was going to show you guys the Patagato and program, how you can see APM as a function of time. Imagine for these two players this is very high. Alright, so let's see the next game. I wonder if the other games are being played. Blackheart versus... Maybe we should see that. Blackheart versus Lucian on Eye of the Storm. Yeah, I really want to see that one. And then we'll go back to Zoc versus Puerto Rico. Hopefully also the video quality is alright. I can improve it, but then the people can't download it fast enough. So Blackheart versus Lucian. Last game was Seraphim versus Seraphim. This one's Aeon versus Aeon. Actually, I remember playing Blackheart and a tourney on this map and actually got an advantage, but as I always do, I cannot finish games. Lucian's second air, 6 B-gens. Imagine that he'll rush to Hydra with a couple NGs. 4 engineers. See, it's a level of respect for the other player. 1 engineer and a whole bunch of scouts. Wow. Aggression. We're seeing aggression here from Blackheart. He wants to know exactly what happens. That's likely because he did see that game, the first bomber opening against Zoc. So doing a little intel gathering before the game starts. Not sure if this is actually going at +3. It might be very much live here. It looks like 2 air factories, similar to what Pecherico did. 2 air factories is nice. If you can keep up with power, it might mean you won't get a very quick Tech 2 mass extractor because you'll spend all the mass on P-gens. Blackheart very spread out. He knows that Lucian knows the triple bomb. Everybody knows the triple bomb, but some are on the receiving end of it. And to the middle looks like a little faster for Lucian. So on the last game, what we saw was defense from Pecherico was his losing combination. Zoc with aggression 1. Blackheart, he's very, I guess he's good all around. I usually think of him as more defensive. Maybe it's just that he doesn't do stupid things. So I think, yeah, Blackheart's gameplay is to minimize stupidity. I think that's the way I would describe it. And Lucian's gameplay, yeah, he's just Lucian. He's probably the top player overall in the history of Supreme Commander Forge Alliance. He did go to China for a while, which is not known for Supreme Commander talent, so I think he lost a little skill. Although that would be unfortunate. I'd love to see China just like have 100,000, which would be nothing for China, players, kind of like as a fuck you to Korea in terms of StarCraft. But maybe in like 10 years after a nuclear war or something like that could happen. So Tech 2 mass extractors. I don't see any. We did see a scout and a bomber now coming out. Interesting use of auroras from Blackheart, sticking to land, and it does appear that the middle is going to be very well protected by Lucian. Lucian also, maybe this is the unusual. No, this is both ACUs. They're nearly identical positions. Wow. Where's the 5% from Blackheart? I don't see the 5%. Actually, I think it might be there. No, there's no 5%. Here comes the bomber from Lucian. I think it's just going to get shut down. Naval plant, second air factory coming up. Lucian quite a bit ahead on power. 440 power is significant, although Blackheart catching up. He's got a single engineer on power. And quite a bit of land spam. We're going to see a lot more land spam in this one, I think, because of the Aurora. Yeah, it's going to be 2 engineer power spam from Lucian. And I think they're going to be dead even on power. In terms of reclaim in the first 5 minutes, 1200 from Lucian. Blackheart only 900. So yeah, this engineer really cleaned up, and now radar. As the Blackheart moving in with the Auroras to the mid. Yep, the race continues. Don't cancel your orders. Yeah, so at this stage, it's not exactly clear who's going to have the middle. In terms of air, it does look like there are numbers for Lucian. If you mark this correctly, it look like Blackheart is going to take the bait and throw away a couple inties. Now he's going to pull back, but he will lose. So that's going to be a significant advantage, as we are already seeing bombers for Lucian, which will cut off any expanding engineers. And actually, that might allow Lucian to take the middle. Lucian dipping his toes into the water. He's going to get a couple frigates, I imagine, as Lucian's AC is almost there too. Let's see if this is going to be the same. 2 mass extractors, move order, rock, move order, 2 rocks, land factory. Alright, right here. No. You can almost say
I guess Blackheart. Here's the 5%. The engineer. Blackheart brought an engineer in support. Yeah, I guess that's see if that makes a difference. He did lose air control, so he needs quite a bit of an advantage, as we're now going to see an engineer from Blackheart to the middle. Let me just check that everything is cool. So I didn't get anybody saying that something's wrong with the stream, so I'm assuming everything is not wrong. As Lushan, I think, is going to lose the middle. It's a good looking Aurora with 3 kills, the 9 mask extractors. Actually in similar positions here. Lushan loves to hide behind mask extractors, but this time he's shooting at their own target. Yeah, and Lucian used the bomber to take care of the engineer in the middle. Oh, and a drop from Lucian. That was a poorly scouted drop. So far on this map, I think Lucian has had the worst luck against Zoc and not against Blackheart. It's also quite amazing to see how different Lucian's playing this one compared to how he played against Zoc. 2 engineers in the power spam, but Blackheart is significantly ahead. 2 engineers, and there's another engineer here. Tech to mask extractors, absolutely going for a 3rd and 4th, while Blackheart upgrading rapidly and mass stalling like crazy. 2 tech, 2 mask extractors upgraded at the same time. That's a little loss of efficiency there. It's just the 2nd tech to mask extractor for Lucian. Has got enough mass to get 3rd. And Lucian with a bit of a map control advantage, and that was really gained by these few Auroras. And actually 4 mask extractors and another 300 reclaimed here. Blackheart making up for that with the superior upgrades, plus those 4 mask extractors in the corner. Although Lucian is going to have this top corner quite easily with no challenge. He might actually be able to get a base and start pushing down, as we are seeing first signs of Navy. Yeah, finally a Navy from Blackheart. Frigates and a drop to the middle. Scouts are going to spot that. We might see an airfight here shortly. 17 interceptors, 18 interceptors, very similar numbers at this point. See 2 air factories, quite a bit of build capacity and support. Lucy wants, now this time Lucy is pulling away with power. Also some build capacity and support on Lucian's factories. Submarine's gonna come in. And I think Lucian is going to have map control. If he can hold on to the middle with these bombers, he might be able to. And drops now for Lucian. That's one big difference so far. A lot more drops from Blackheart. Blackheart using drops to try to recover his map control. Lucian also pushing on the left side. And tech to flak, I did not notice that. Tech to land. Out of all the different techs, I would have... Oh, wow. Oh, man. Lucian has just thrown away there. Big development in this one. We're also seeing tech to flak and blazes. Yeah. Tech to A on land is very good on water maps with the mobile shields. Make their destroyer so much more powerful. Floating flak. The blaze is also very, very fast, so you can send it in different positions. Very effective against Tech 1 units. Is very effective against Aurora. Doesn't have the range, but definitely has about 10 times as much health. Tech to power for Blackheart. Tech to air. Tech to land versus tech to air. We're also seeing a bit of tech to land in planning for Lucian. And what we've seen is a quicker teching versus map control, with very similar mass numbers from both players. This game definitely looks a lot more even than the one between Pachirico and Zoc, although the player who was behind for half the game won. Yeah, these are nice Auroras. Lucian's Auroras behind enemy lines, getting the job done so far. And Blackheart's superior tech and getting the job done for him, although 2 tech to mask extractors at once. Yeah, it's here's a mission. Although 2 tech to flax and oh, that's interesting. It looks like it's not able to shoot through the mountain. Yeah, those are only going to shoot air. So looks like Blackheart is going to provide air support for units that don't exist. Navy versus blazes. It's always good to use frigates versus blazes. It's better. And there are quite a few submarines. 2 submarines versus 1 submarine. Of course, the frigates do have anti-torpedo capabilities. The Aeon frigates. Blazes for Lushi. And we're gonna see, looks like a front line here. Lucian giving up 2 mask extractors and a drop from Blackheart. Yeah, some sneaky blazes. And a wall for Lucian. So far we're basically seeing raids everywhere. And a little quicker tech to land from Blackheart might be giving him a slight advantage. And slightly faster tech to air. I think Lucian went faster tech to air because he did have that absolute a calamity here against Blackheart in air, but now he's got some swift ones, so he should be able to recover. A gunship, where is that? Where is all the anti-air? There was a whole bunch here. I guess they were not in sync. Lucian picking up his 300 mass, and I think if he puts a factory here, there's no defense for Blackheart. He can continue to push. Tech to Navy plant for Blackheart. Tech to Navy plant for Lucian, with Blackheart slightly ahead. Blackheart's tech 2 doing very good job on the raiding front. So far dead even with Blackheart. How many tech 2 mask extractors he's got? He's just been teching like non-stop. Look at that, that's 8. And yeah. What about Lucian? Lucian's got 6. And he's got so much mass in the bank. It's very surprising. He could have got another 2. But he's going to get this destroyer very fast. Also in terms of power, extremely even. And one difference so far have been the gunships, as we're going to see this air fight, Swift Winds versus, oh, there's Swift Winds here as well. So it's going to be a complete loss for Lucian. So on the air front, yeah, those need to be pulled back. You don't want to go on a suicide mission. More raids. Raids everywhere. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty one-sided with all those blazes. 3 versus 2 on the blazes. Actually even more. Very strong tech 2 land from Blackheart. And if I had to give an advantage, I think I'd have to give it to Blackheart, given that he does have slight advantage on the air control. I imagine as soon as he starts making gunships here, which he is doing now, he's going to begin to grab back map control. And it's not always clear which order to upgrade mask extractors on this map. Looks like it's going to be these 7 and 8 for Lucian. Lucian needs to get some tech to flak in this position. He's got a supporting factory. Yeah, big push back here from Blackheart on the right side. Gunships to the middle. Gonna start denying map control. And we are seeing destroyer. Is that a... yes, that's a cruiser. Oh my god. The Aeon cruiser from Lucian. I guess it makes sense if you've completely lost air. But I think tech to flak so much cheaper than a cruiser, and you're just occupying your factory. Some hero pilots here doing suicide. This destroyer completed. Yeah, he's got some tech to flak and support. One of the good things about playing as Aeon, I'm not sure if these two players are going to do it, is he can make power. You can always utilize it with some shields, and on these naval battles, you can always use those extra shields. A drop, Tech 2 drop. Oh man, I don't know if that's going to make it, although it's quick. Oh, now the naval. Are we going to see micro? A lot of opportunities for micro when it's Aeon on Aeon. A dodge there from Lucian. These are critical shots. These do more than 1,000 damage per shot. Yep, another. And it just takes a slight movement, especially when you're far away. You do not ever have to get hit by an Aeon destroyer. It's like hitting a parked car. That's what it's like, getting hit by an Aeon destroyer, but happens to all of us, I guess. Oh, this is a nice push, actually killing a few Tech 2 mass extractors. Lucian is now ahead, and I think this push from Lucian has made a significant difference. As we're now going to see this cruiser. This cruiser is going to have to get a lot of kills. Looking at Lucian's base, he's got second Tech 2 power coming up. He is going to get some mass storages around his Tech 2 mass extractors. Quite a bit of build capacity on his air. A lot more build capacity on air for Blackheart. It's just a single destroyer here. Neither destroyer really able to hit anything. Good looking flag right there. Any kind of drops are going to be in quite a bit of trouble. Superior numbers on the gunships from Blackheart. Lucy sitting next to a couple Tech 2 flags, and these are probably the next mass extractors to be upgraded. Oh wow, this is a frigate. 2 destroyers for Blackheart. Second destroyer coming out. Oh, this is where this flag's gonna get its money. Yeah, those gunships gonna think twice. They're gonna move back, perhaps go against this navy, and we might see this cruiser go to work. Yeah, not something you want to do. Not even with Tech 3 air against Tech 1 air. It's just unfair. Yeah, random shots. Yeah, the gunship's becoming obsolete with the advent of Tech 2 flag. The raids, nobody ever canceled those. Those continue. It looks like an attempt at another naval factory from Blackheart is shut down. As oh yeah, that destroyer just ate a lot of shots. That's a significant loss. And now actually Lucian could be in a bit of trouble. He needs to retreat. The cruiser has pulled back with 13 kills, but only a single destroyer left. More build capacity now for Lucian is needed, as both players very similar numbers on mass. This Blaze being inconspicuous in the corner. Good color choice from Blackheart. You can always just do that, of course, if you're Lucian. Enemy friendly colors. Yeah, that Blaze is gonna be annoying. No Tech 1 Navy from Blackheart. And also no Tech 1 Navy anymore from Lucian. He's choosing to use blazes instead. This is actually a nice little piece of mountain you can hide behind. And as Aeon you can usually shoot over obstacles as another push on the right side from Lucian. And a lot of gunships. There's still a lot of gunships from Blackheart. He could possibly be thinking about a snipe here. Yeah, more Tech 2 mass extractors from Blackheart. I'd love to see a drop right there. Those are so unprotected. Blackheart and a Tech 2 ACE is going to get Tech 3 sonar. Yeah, successful attack. And one thing we haven't checked so far, 14,000 reclaim, Lucian. Wow, that's a big difference. About 8,000 difference on the reclaim front. We're not seeing a lot of fresh destroyers. Firing erratically. Good looking cruiser on 13 kills. More Navy, and looks like some Tech 1 naval factories coming up for Lucian. As these two players are still dead even in terms of their economy. Perhaps a bit of a counterattack now on the right side from Blackheart. If he could occupy Lucian's ACU in a battle and take out these Tech 2 flags, Lucian would die to I think there's enough gunships to kill him. 50 damage per second, and you get 20 of those. 2,000 damage per second. ACU dies in 5 seconds. Let's see. Yep. Very similar micro here. 19 kills on the cruiser. I'm gonna see more teching. I guess we're probably gonna see Tech 3 mass extractors in this one. Wonder who's gonna make first Tech 3. Who's gonna throw the first stone? Nice scouting. Gunships going to work. Yeah, looks like Blackheart choosing this route of attack always around. He just avoids his point defense. That's the thing about floating units. They kind of make a lot of defenses not very effective when you just go around. That's sort of the best way to deal with defenses, going around. A lot of times it's like people get attracted to trying to kill your defense. And now Blackheart is in the process of taking over the middle and assaulting on the right side. And this area is now beginning to fill up with mass, so maybe somebody will come in and grab that. Tech 3 sonar for Blackheart, you can see the effect. He knows anything that's on water. Lucian does not have that luxury, and that actually might make a fairly big difference here. Yeah, I think Lucian here just lost a bunch of units for nothing. This is a lot of destroyers. Lucian could be in a bit of trouble. He needs more build capacity, maybe shields. He needs something. Tech 3 air wouldn't be anything too crazy. I think one big difference between these two players are the total engineer counts, especially back at the bases. You can see it's a total of 150 from Blackheart. It's only, yeah, basically half. 69. And yeah, this is now getting very scary. And that's so many missed shots. Gunships en route from Lucian. They're gonna have to try to do something about this situation. Oh my god. Can't believe that destroyer lived. And gunships now from Blackheart as well. Another cruiser. Oh no, why making a cruiser? More Tech 1 naval factories. You're gonna see an air fight with gunships being thrown away. This is gonna be a lot of micro. Who's got the superior micro? Oh, I think definitely Blackheart. I think Blackheart can thank his days on sentence perhaps for that one. That was a very good turn, as the cruiser's going to be thrown away. And now with air and naval control, Blackheart is really in the driving seat on this one. Now, of course, I said that with Zoc versus Pecherico, and then I was wrong, but maybe I'll be right. Supporting naval factories now. Oh, and yeah, a couple engineers. Oh, of course, Blackheart. He's gonna send engineers. He's gonna grab that mass. He's gonna turn it into something good. But recycle. Yeah, 21st century, the green century of recycling and saving the environment. You gotta make sure your water's all blue, and then yeah, make more things with guns from the things you recycle.
The concept of recycled military. This has been a very peaceful front here. On this side it looks like it's been won by Blackheart and Blackheart's engineers, and we did see that 20,000 difference. So even though we are seeing more build capacity now for Lucian, that may or may that's only part of the equation for making units. The other part is the mass, and we are now seeing Blackheart pulling away. Another thing that we are seeing, these two players, the way they move up, a lot of times people make the mistake when they get the capability to make tech to P gens, so you make a whole bunch. It's been very measured from Blackheart as well as Lucian. Yeah, and this is the beginning of the end. This is going to be a very fast death. I gotta say, I think it was a couple micro tricks. One, I think that sonar, the Tech 3 sonar, gave a big advantage to Blackheart. He was able to see exactly what's happening. And knowing what's happening allows you to make the right decision, obviously. And then also that the air battle. What is happening? Oh, a Tech 2 flak. Is that going to be the victor? Is that it? No, it's just Tech 2. So that's just a suicide. Maybe if it was Tech 3. He doesn't have torpedoes, lying. Or maybe he's saying it's Siren. So very well played by Blackheart. So Blackheart and Zoc in round 1 get the first game. Of course, these are best of 3s. Speed this up. A bit of capturing shenanigans. Yeah, destroyers are gonna clean that one up. Right, where did I get a message? Awesome. So next games, I'm hoping Zoc versus Loki. Excellent. This is the second game. It's gonna be the second game between Zoc and Pachirico. Well, that was a bit of a fail. Where's the game? Well, maybe we'll go then to Blackheart. Playing Loki. Oh, I guess they've already played that one. So maybe we can see it in the replay vault. Spoiler free. I dread hitting the search button, so I'm hoping it just shows up. Too many games on FF. Maybe if I search for just Loki, it won't be too difficult. Yeah, let's continue to spam. Maybe they uploaded it to the forums. Wouldn't that be awesome? Probably not. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. We want the one with the bigger number. Alright, so game 2 between Zoc and Petrich. So in this one, Petrich needs to win if he wants game 3 on Canis. And if Zoc wins, he moves on to the final, which will be against either Blackheart or Lucian. And once again, well, is Aeon popular again? This is kinda... haven't seen this much Aeon in a long time. I guess this map, low water. 2 PGens. All mask extractors will be taken by the ACU. And Zoc, let's see, 2 engineers. See how quickly he gets that Hydra. Let's see if he picks up some of this reclaim here. Curious to see what will happen. Oh, nice, 7 PGen second air, followed by a land factory. And you can see 3 mask extractors. And it's going to be a whole bunch of reclaim. Zoc's going to skip the reclaim. Yeah, Pachirico is known for using his engineers to grab those trees. That's another, I guess, artifact of playing Sentence. It's one of the forms of cancer that you can get from Sentence. Spend your time worrying about these things instead of something important. I love trees though, so I shouldn't say anything. Cutting down trees and making energy out of them is one of the most fun things you can do. Say that total sincerity. Actually speed this up since it's actually a replay. Yeah, it looks like an engineer assist. Holy shit. Alright, we're gonna have to look at those numbers once he's done. There's also gonna be this. So Pachirico attacking the map. He's got a vendetta against whoever made this map. He's gonna remove all the textures and all the things that have been placed. Let's see how he's doing so far. He's at 182, so it has definitely stopped him from stalling on both energy and mass. And that's one of the key things. If you're gonna assault the map, you gotta make sure that you use it all, and I think he used it. You can see how he did it by doing an assist on his ACU. You typically use up all your resources and then stall if you do that the whole time in your initial build order. Scout and Bomber. Bomber from Zoc. Zoc is moving out. But the Zoc is going to have an advantage with 2 engineers on that Hydra. He's going to have quite a bit more power. Scout is looking for this engineer. This engineer is very valuable. Although it looks like there's both light assault bots and a bomber on the case. The spirit gets taken out. Well, this bomber is going to attempt to deny the Hydra a good opportunity for 2 bombs in a row. Although I think, yeah, this Inti is going to take care of it. No, this Inti has different orders. And looks like a bit of dodging action. I think that interceptor is going to have to get fired, whoever gave him that order. So 1 engineer is dead. If this second engineer dies, that would... There it is, Zoc with 2 critical kills. Those 2 kills were a lot more important than all those trees, but let's actually check out 642. And yet another bomber coming in from Pachirico. There's a bit of an air fight going on. It's going to be 2 versus 1. Zoc expanding fairly rapidly here on the bottom. He does have 2 engineers which are going to get factory. These 2 engineers are playing extremely well for Zoc. The 2 engineers that were lost for Pachirico. He's got a foothold up on top. There is a bomber on the case. He probably will kill at least one of them. As the ACU for Zoc establishing a base up on the high ground. Pachirico in a similar position. And this right here would be a primary target
for Zoc. If he can cut that out with some bombers or something along those lines. But so far it's Pachirico. Yeah, Pachirico doing a pretty good aerial assault. And actually, let me slow this down. A lot of things have happened, and we are seeing a significant advantage for Zoc. Zoc has just started a Tech 2 upgrade. Now Pachirico with a couple spirits. 1600. So do 2 damage per second. It's going to take 800 seconds. 800 seconds is 2 minutes 40 seconds. Or no, sorry, not 2 minutes. 12 minutes. It's over 12 minutes to kill that with those 2 spirits. Also Aurora. So we're seeing very similar things on both sides. But one big difference is this factory for Zoc. I think will allow him to hold on to that position. Meanwhile, the ACU for Zoc is also quite a bit more aggressive, although I shouldn't say that. Pachirico is also in a very similar position. It does appear now that Pachirico able to recover. Zoc still having some issues. He's now got this Aurora. It's going to provide a little more damage. And an engineer running away from Zoc's ACU. Yeah, those mass extractors are probably going to die. As Zoc, an interesting position to attack. He did spot the ACU, so he's just going to avoid the ACU. Typically people attack through the bottom, but no reason to do that in this situation. The Hydra will be saved from its eventual doom in about 10 minutes. The point defense goes up for Pachirico. That's only going to protect that corner. All of this could be vulnerable. Oh, and yeah, this bomber is going to make a pretty big difference. As we're going to see a drop onto Zoc's head. So it's going to be a mass delivery, courtesy of Pachirico. Pachirico on the bottom denies a couple of mass extractors. As we're basically seeing a lot of bombers from both players. It's almost like all the interceptors are gone, and it's just bombers flying around. There's a few interceptors here and there. Here comes the mass delivery. It's a 6. You'd never want to overkill your mass deliveries, so this is about 300 mass delivered to Zoc. He can get himself almost a gun for that price. Need 500 mass for that. Aeon gun. Tech to air from Zoc. See 2 tech to mass extractors. Got 1, 2. Oh wow, two mass extractors at once being upgraded. Pachirico in a total mass stall. This is very uncharacteristic. So I guess when you put people in a unusual situation, they begin to do unusual things. Yeah, Pachirico is not one player I would choose to screw up taking up mass extractors. See this bomber 1 kill. Tech to air. That's going to be a very bad situation. Pachirico is going to completely lose air. It's not just the swift ones that are so much better at fighting, they're also faster. So any kind of recovery, so you can cover the entire map. And without really a Tech 2 flak, that means, yeah, here come the gunships. The gunships can go ahead and kill mass extractors. Although now Pachirico's finally finished this calamity here of an upgrade. 4 Tech 2 mass extractors. And Zoc, amazingly, I don't think he's riding the power stall. The Zoc is wasting power. That's almost like him disrespecting Pachirico. We got some stationary anti-air. These gunships are just gonna say whatever. We're gonna go fight somewhere else. Hydro and a couple mass extractors. Tech 2 air from Pachirico. He's just starting that. He is trying to get his power back. So Pachirico's economy here in a bit of shambles. Although that's actually alright. If he can recover here, it will be good. And is that, what kind of drop is that? No, that's gunships. Yeah, that's a hallucination coupled with a gunship. A lot more build capacity for Zoc.
who is now actually, yeah, I think he's falling behind on mass a little bit. Yeah, these gunships have been, yeah, they're going after radar. He's choosing any spot that has no flak. And yeah, the best way to assault with gunships, send them into every single place on the map. It makes them look, I think, a lot better than they are, and actually makes them more effective. They can kill more things in different places. Much more difficult to defend against. Zoc's almost done with the second Tech 2 PGen. You can see this recovery. Yeah, the best way to recover from any kind of assault is to rebuild, and for that you need engineers. So a part of any proper assault in Supreme Commander Forge Alliance is to kill engineers together with your intended target. And that's actually something quite difficult in this game, and what separates really some of the top players is target selection, how to do a proper assault, cost-benefit analysis of leaving a whole bunch of wrecks. Not always obvious, and I think very dependent on the situation. It's where a lot of the depth in this game lies. Successful drop from Zoc, and perhaps now a counter from Pecherico. Pecherico has had a decent economy in this one, so he's been able to hold his own even in the face of this assault from Zoc. And even though he did kill a couple of mass extractors, I don't think it was as effective as may have first been expected. A very quick point defense, very important from Pecherico. Yeah, Pecherico has had this corner all game. Also this, so this is 7 mass extractors really unchallenged, and that's... did I just see cruise missiles? Where are the cruise missiles coming from? Right there. Oh, and TMD. Aeon TMD saves the day. Oh, that could have been so bad for Pecherico. But this right here is not a very good investment now. Ineffective. Yeah, that could have been all the power and a bunch of Tech 2 mass extractors. Nope, there goes the missile. Leave a 200, well, the cruise missile launcher costs about 700, plus you got 200 mass per missile, but a lot of the costs are in the power. So that was a significant investment from Zoc, and he's basically wasted almost 2,000 mass now, given all those missiles that he's fired. Yeah, more power coming up for Zoc. He's paused a bunch of his land production, which means he could be a little thin on the bottom. Pecherico, meanwhile, continues to battle as Zoc is engaged in a Tech 2 point defense creep. And doing stuff like this with the ACU is kind of dangerous. You can imagine a situation where you suddenly lose your air to some stupidity. Sitting next to a Tech 2 Aeon factor with a lot of build capacity, you get a couple mercies in you real quick. Pecherico wondering about his auroras. Oh yeah, up on top. Yeah, they disappeared to this. I imagine maybe Pecherico didn't have proper scouting. Yeah, splash on Tech 2 point defenses is very nice, as we've seen an air battle coupled with gunships. So this is kind of like the second wave of this aerial assault from Zoc, and the second wave much more effective. I think now we are beginning to see Pecherico crumble under this pressure. He didn't produce enough Tech 2 flak, actually. Yeah, he only has some Tech 2 flak here, so Tech 2 point defense creep coupled with this superior aerial assault, and that's once again reminiscent of the Eye of the Storm game, where Pecherico seems to have been doing quite well, but the difference was a superior attacking ability of Zoc, really using his ACU to the maximum ability, and as soon as he has his units, he's really put them to use. And that's one of the frustrating things when watching newer players. You make something, you don't use it. Zoc immediately uses it. And yeah, if you look at all the units, they're doing something. These are playing defense. Tech 2 mass extractors under assault. It is now being very demoralizing for Pecherico. Pecherico and a transport.
Not the friendliest guys. You can see, can Zoc see him? There's no radar here. Those gunships would shoot that transport out of the air very quickly. Yeah, everything just melted away for Pachirico on this one. Zoc under shield next to Pachirico's starting position. Pachirico's back home. Oh, he's gonna attempt to snipe. Mercies, cruise missiles. That's all he's got left. Scouting from Zoc, so no surprises. And the last land assault on Zoc's base. Takes out a couple of mask ejectors. Gunships moving in. Pachirico has no mass. Oh, he's got some in storage. Yeah, brutal gunships from Zoc. I almost have to say the second game, I think he made it look too easy. Perhaps Zoc needed the first 13 minutes of Eye of the Storm to warm up, but Zoc is now warmed up, so I gotta say he looks extremely impressive in this one. Because Pachirico is a very good player. So Zoc goes to the final, and we'll see who he's going to play against. I'm actually going to take a small break and then come back to some of this streaming. So we can look at this graph. Yeah, Zoc won. Well, I wonder where that came from.